Hi, everybody. Yes, it's Karen Crozier. Here, I don't like the glare. Bad enough, I don't even think I've brushed my hair yet. But I felt like I had to respond. It's nice, though, to see that I can post something and get positive comments because of what happened yesterday. I actually was able to bring back some fond memories that I had kind of forgotten about because Phoenix was so much. You guys have no idea how much it's different. You wouldn't be sitting around talking about the good old days. You guys would be making new days. I'm telling you. But maybe new days can be made here. I don't know how hard you guys are trying to make new days. Why don't we all get together as people in our 40s or 30s or whatever we are and start trying to come up with ideas to get petitions to bring in new things and stuff like that to get people to come to this area so that it'll be like it was years ago when it was booming for a little while. I've been coming here since 1969. I lived here in sixth grade. I lived here in high school, college, and also up till about the age of 31 before I moved to Phoenix. So I'm not some stupid person who does not know anything about Sebring. And true Southern hospitality is more like, hey, y'all come on in, sit a seatbelt, take your shoes off, y'all come back now here. What happened to that instead of all this crap? Now I'm a sociopath, a criminal, a con artist, a liar. Come on. I'll explain to you, and I should have just done it because I knew somebody was going to come up with it. Before I came here, oh, and first let me say, had I been in your shoes, my attitude might be different. It's not the place. I'm not down wagging Sebring, okay? I'm not. Except they should have more for younger folks here. They really should. It's set up for the old people. You know, that's the reality. That's why you guys are thinking about the past. They got rid of everything for us. It's catered to the elderly. Um, where was I? Oh yeah, you guys talk about how much you miss it because of all your friends and your family and all that. I gotcha. You may be in some place I'd rather be, but your family and friends are all here, so this is where you want to be, which makes absolutely perfect sense. Now, when I went to Phoenix, I worked for a worldwide printing company, a Securities Exchange Commission company that printed things for the stock-owned companies. Now, I got that job when I was about 35, and it was a very, no, it was a little older than that even. I didn't even have a parking ticket. Nothing. No record, no nothing. That's how I got that job because they trained us two people at a time for an entire day. And we were warned, don't think you're going to come in here with diamonds or a new fancy car or whatever and think we're not going to notice. We will notice, we will investigate, and you will go to federal prison. That's as plain and simple. My father even, God rest his soul, he used to bug me for stock tips. And I'd be like, Dad, I'm sorry, I cannot tell you that's against the law, and I can wind up in prison for it. And probably you too. And actually, if I could have given him stock tips, I'd have had a lot more money in my inheritance fund, which he set up wrong, so I can't really do. I can get a monthly payment, but until I'm 59 and a half, I can't like take money out of it. It's like over $500,000 that I've got. But anyway, I bought a house here in April. My dad died. I sold his house in Virginia, and I bought this house here in Sebring Hills South because I grew up in Sebring Hills. My family's there. I love my grandmother. She's 85. She's been like a mom to me. But the rest of my family, mm-mm. Oh, and my adopted sister. I have an adopted aunt well, my father's sister, they grew up together. She's in Orange City, and for some reason she's not talking to me. I don't know what she's heard, but neither is my cousin Mary Ellen. But no, I left here to get away from my family. I'd never been to Phoenix, never. I went out there with my dog, a backpack, and a purse, and I got a big box and I shoved as much crap in it as I could, and I shipped 3 mysterious boxes. I packed all my stuff, but of course I never got it. The three boxes and shipped them. Luckily, it had pots and pans and stuff like that in, so it was cool. But that's it. And started over in a new place I'd never been, and wound up a success. And then I got sick, and I nearly died. And my mother came out to help with my son, who was only 3, and he was about to turn 4, and I was out of the hospital, and I have the most wonderful friend on earth out there, Robert. He's he's an angel. He would do anything for me. Not because I sleep with him or anything like that. I'm just the only person he's ever known that has never lied to him, screwed him over, stole from him, used him, abused him. He said I'm the nicest person, the most honest person, the kindest person he's ever known. He took me in when I had no place to go and he didn't even know me. He told me, he said, I left out my prescriptions, my jewelry, my money. You never ever touched it or stole from me. I said, no, how could I? You saved my life. What am I going to bite the hand that feeds me? Like here? Everybody I tried to get as a roommate turned out to rip me off and be on drugs. I'd be like, you're on drugs. And no, I don't do drugs. No, I don't do drugs. Now let's get into this thing. First of all, I have a note from a psychiatrist saying I have no mental illness. I do have some mild depression and ADD with hypermanic episodes. So, whatever. But he says I have no mental illness. I have sound judgment, clear thinking, good decision making, no hallucinations, no delusional, nothing. I'm stable and good. How many of you can back that up? I'll show you my letter any day. I try to keep it handy. Anywho, the, the police thing. I'm going to tell you how I never broke the law. When I came here, my mother used to run New Hope. She knew everybody, including the judge that was in charge when they took me to court to try and take my son away and committed perjury, which I took the state's attorney and they agreed and they were willing to prosecute, but I'm not a mean person and I didn't want to do that to my mother, even though she's tried to murder me, she's punished me, I couldn't do that. But they took him away from me. My sister was sleeping with her lawyer, who didn't even practice family law, and I hired, who the hell was that idiot? Of course, he didn't do anything. Nothing. And I lost my son. And I can't leave here because I promised him I wouldn't. So I've gone through this hell. They knew all the cops and stuff. Buddies, I don't know. They set me up when I first got here. I got pulled over and searched, and they found my pillbox. And back then I took strong meds. And I had a couple of them in there, and he was just horrible to me. As a matter of fact, he went right to the newspapers, and it was on the front page. I tried to work. I tried to actually work as a substitute teacher. That's how I met the man I've been seeing for 8 years. He's a very prominent, a little bit older teacher that many of you may have even had, but I can't mention his name. Sorry. I can keep a secret. Anyhow, well, I was doing that. Let me think. Yeah, I was teaching then. Yeah, teacher goes to jail on drug charges. Well, I went to the judge and I told her what happened. She said, just take your bottles to the state's attorney's office and they'll show you that it's no build and you're free. So I did, and I went to the police station. They gave me back my medicine. I thought that was it. But I've heard them read off my charges. Possession of alprazolam, possession of dextroamphetamine salts, possession of oxycodone. And I'm like, what? Those were my prescriptions. Okay, that's the only book. I called the newspaper and they sent a reporter and a photographer out, got my side of the story, and put it on the front page with my picture. And I warned the elderly. I said, those of you who keep your pills in a pill box, don't do it. You can go to jail. So that's the only law I ever broke. And even then, it wasn't really breaking the law. Okay, next case. Due to the heavy medication I was on at night, I didn't know what was going on, all the racket in the kitchen, in a horrible house downtown that I had to share sometimes with my sister, Angela Carvello, who doesn't like me. Sometimes you can catch her at big shop parties, swinging on a pole. She likes to strip and show off her pole tricks. She just can't get that out of her system, no matter how classy she tries to be. Yeah, it was her idea to take my son. And sleeping with Mom's lawyer worked really well, too. All the documents she slammed me with were in her name. She called the stupidest witnesses. It was ridiculous. I went through the whole list. Anyway, the second time was that night I was so groggy. She's an alcoholic. She had drank, she told me later on, 3 bottles of vodka, the grape vodka, and she was doing beer bongs with her lesbian friends in the kitchen. They all decided to go out, and for some reason one of them locked her bedroom door for her. Anyways, I came out and I'm like, where'd everybody go? And Angela turned around and attacked me and kicked me over and over, screaming at me what a horrible mother I was and all this crap. Finally, somebody knocked on the door. It was the cops. They looked at us and took her to jail. On the way to jail, she says I'm a crackhead and gives them permission to come search. Not her room. They can't get in where her drugs and shit are. They search my room. Well, her friend Melissa Nishwitz, Rodriguez, whatever, who worked for the school board for a long time, kept a box of stuff there that she didn't want her husband to see, and it was under my bed. And I don't look in other people's stuff. I'm not like that. And the cops went through it and found a red stocking that said Melissa, dumped it out. There's a marijuana roach and pieces of a bowl. I go to jail. I didn't know about public defenders, or I'd have gotten off, because I said, I'll go right and take a drug test. I had to take a class. I passed my test. I had to go to the school board, and I had to tell who the person was that it belonged to, and I said, Melissa Rodriguez Nishwitz. They called her on the job. They said, go take a drug test. She refused and lost her job. So, what does that prove? Anyhow, then I was in Walmart trying to buy batteries for my camera. I took it out of my purse, showed it to somebody, put it back in. Next thing I know, I'm being interrogated by a police officer about stealing my own camera. Wouldn't go check to see if there were empty boxes or if they even carried that camera anymore. And he's taking me to jail, and I can't get in the car. It's dark. I'm stumbling. I'm handicapped. And he's threatening to tase me. I get in the car, and he's like, I'll give you one more chance on that camera, or I'm putting your purse in evidence. So I finally said, you know what? I need my purse. Take the damn camera. Once I pled guilty, I got the camera right back. Then I got put on some medicine because they don't understand my disease that made me goofy. And I remember being arrested by Monica Sauls, because I know who she is, and she was laughing because I was so ridiculous. Well, I remember going to jail and everything, and then I get paperwork saying I punched some cop twice in the chest with a closed fist, which is a lie. I never did it. But this is a battery on a police officer. I couldn't win. I think I gotta stop and do a second video.